We have our first confirmation of the next IP announcement.
So that's where the power's coming from?
The Blair Witch Project is coming as a haunted house.
Look at the facade.
We can see the Hellraiser signage.
Okay guys, we're back at Universal Studios Florida. It's time for another Halloween Horror Nights 2026 update. We're gonna have a mega Murdy tweet time. We got new props, new cords, new lights. There's so much to go over in this Halloween Horror Nights update. So on that note, let's talk about the Halloween Horror Nights for today. We're gonna go back to HHN 2010. You got Nightmare on Elm Street. You got Friday the 13th. You got Saw. We had all the house names on the back. So on that note, enjoy the commercial.
Hi, I'm John Murdy, Creative Director of Universal Studios Hollywood. Welcome back to this exclusive sneak peek at Halloween Horror Nights 2010. Now, as the Creative Director of Halloween Horror Nights, I'm always looking for something new that we can tap into to bring to life for our event. And we found something new this year. It actually comes from the Latino culture. It's a myth called La Llorona.
To the Spanish community, it's a story that everyone grows up listening, and they tell their daughters, their children, and that children tells the next generation.
La Llorona is a Mexican legend that dates back to the early 1800s, and it's a story about a woman that marries the most handsome man in the village. She bears 2 sons, and later finds out that her loved one is cheating on her with another woman, and takes her 2 children and drowns them, and drowns herself in the river.
And that's really where our story begins. Because almost immediately after the woman was laid to rest, people started reporting seeing sights of a woman dressed in white with a veil, walking along by the rivers at night, crying and wailing mournfully. And that's actually where the name La Llorona comes from. It means the weeping woman. And her cries, if you hear them, mark you for death. So one of the goals as designers of Halloween Horror Nights is we want to be absolutely authentic to everything we're creating, whether it's a movie or, in the case of La Llorona, a myth that goes back over 500 years. So what we did is we did a ton of research on our own, but we also worked really closely with our sister company, Telemundo, and we brought in a lot of people that work in television development for Telemundo to make sure that our version of La Llorona would be instantly iconic and recognizable to our guests. When we knew we were on the right track is when people instantly said, La Llorona.
Ay, mis hijos, ¿dónde están mis hijos? My children, where are my children? Weeping and sobbing, that's La Llorona.
What I think is different about La Llorona than, say, other ghost stories is she's not just a specter that you might encounter. She's like a hunter. She's on the prey, and what she's looking for are children. And what she's going to do if she finds you is drag you to the lake and drown you. And that to us appealed because what we're trying to do with our event is always push the line and always take it one step further. And this seemed to be a great way to do that.
Okay, welcome back. Let's head in. It's actually like a nice day out, mid-80s for now.
We got 5 little construction walls up around the arches. So probably later this week, we'll see them add some over there. And then they will start the refurb and the paint job and, you know, make it look all new and fresh. There's a little bit of a breeze happening. We just made it in. Nothing new with the truss here. Nothing's been plugged in. No speakers. No lights yet. See if there's been any changes to the main truss. It looks about the same. No changes yet. I'm ready for like some big set pieces to appear on the towers. But before we see if any more details have been added, we got to pop into the Brown Derby, see if there's any new discounted merch. They did get some Betty Boop shirts in. They do the highly detailed little figures of the Ghostbusters. They're 50 bucks each, but they are 70% off. So you got Peter, you got Egon, and then you got Winston. They got a new Wizarding World long sleeve. I see cord changes over there, but we gotta start with this set piece first. I'm not seeing any changes or any more details added. We still have the cord going all the way up there, probably illuminating the star. There was like all this wrapper trash coming out of the creepy clown mouth, but it's been pushed in or ripped out. Yeah, it's been pushed in. You can see it in there. It looks like someone's actually using it as a trash can because there's a Monster energy can in there. So people are thinking it's an actual trash can. It's got like these crusty lips. We got some more details. Okay, so they've added some lights. Now when we were here the other day, they just had lights inside there, right? They have the plexiglass over the lights, but they've now added lights to the other 2 sections. So we got lights, a lot of them. The sign has also popped up on the stage. This was next to the staircase, but I do see cords going down there, I think connecting the lights. We'll see how it looks kind of behind the scenes. So this is here now. They had the sign here before, but let's see what's going on behind the scenes. It looks like all the lights are now plugged in and powered up. So we can see the first set of lights being plugged in right there, and then the second set right here. So you're gonna have the light strip to the box and then connected to the other light strip right there. No character trigger yet where they'll hit something and something will go off. We've not seen that yet, but we do have more cords back here. So let's follow this. Where's this going? Yeah, this just connects to the cord for the main clown. All right, so this is fully not been set up yet. It's not plugged in. It's just waiting there to be plugged in. So this cord is not plugged in yet, but it is ready, and it's going all the way this way, and they're kind of looping it behind the little stage right here. There's also cords going up here. Where's that going to? If you look, it kind of like loops up to the ceiling.
I see it's looping up and going this way. I guess it connects to the lights right there. I got it figured out now. All right, so this cord right is just running this way, but
the cord that's kind of looping up there, it's going all the way over there and down, and it's connecting to the lights that are right here, which then are also connected to the lights right there. So this is all one cord connecting to those lights right there. But let's see what's connected to the other light bar over there. I'll follow you soon, don't worry. Okay, so the cord that's connected to the lights right here is kind of looping around the barrel. And then back there, let's go see how it looks back there. It also looks like a new light has been installed, and then the cord's just kind of looping through there, and then they're all coming down here. So we have the cord coming from the tower, we got the cord coming from the 2 lights right there, and then the cord coming from the light right there, and then the other spotlight right there, and that's continuing along this way so no one trips on it. It's going along the podcast building, but there's no podcast, RIP, and it's going all the way over here and then all the way up the building. There it goes. All right, so that's where the power's coming from, going all the way down, and then connected to that stuff. So we'll see if the other stage has any power yet. And then we still have, you know, the 2 T-trusses here where the cord's going to the rooftop. So that's what they're kind of aiming for, is running the stuff up there for that. Let's see the other stage, because there's other cords happening. All right, so the A-frame has been moved slightly. It was next to the staircase. They now have that blocking the staircase. See if there's been any changes yet. What's going on with the gravel? God, this just looks so good. They did such a wonderful job with the paint and then also the graphic design. So on these, this is all graphic design. This is all done on a computer, these. But it looks so good that it looks like it's like truly cracking and like old crusty paint, but that's graphic design. And then around the frame, that's all hand painted. So it kind of blends naturally together, but it looks good. I cannot wait to see what's going on with this little ghoulie guy. The gravel has been even uncovered even more. Yeah, see, it's just waiting there. Oh, it's pea pebbles. Now we know what type of gravel it is. It's pea pebbles. I don't see the cord connected to anything on the stage, but they are placed back here, I think, waiting to be plugged into something. They're gonna loop down there through the trash can. Now this one is not as insane as the other one, but just kind of goes across the sidewalk, loops along the building right here, and then goes into its little tunnel into the cord underworld. So that is the cord update over here. I'm guessing we'll probably get a couple more stages in this scare zone. Can't get over how good that stage looks. I don't remember this flashing red. I'm getting my XP right now for the Backlot Club. But why is it flashing red? And then nothing new over at the horror makeup show. Before we go head into the land of truss and LED strips,
we have the first of multiple Murdy updates. It is a mega Murdy update. He probably has calluses on his fingers. He was tweeting that much.
There's John Murdy right there. John!
All right, so someone asked John this: was welcome to dairy ever a consideration? The possibilities were endless. John says, of course. So there were talks again for welcome to dairy to come to Halloween Horror Nights. John, for the anniversary this year, can we expect special food items and some overlays for the restaurants? John says, in Hollywood, ? We don't count years since there's been interruptions to the timeline. As the ringmaster of HHN, what are you most excited for in the near future, us fans to experience? John says, trying new things in Sinners we've never done before, so curious to see how they are received. Has there ever been a consideration regarding the length of audio loops within the houses? We usually hear each loop 3 times while passing through a room. Ruins the surprise sometimes. John says, that's a good one. We'll try to design scenes so you'll be able to see/hear the important stuff. And of course, it's not a ride, so the time you're in a scene can vary greatly. I'll look, or should I say listen, to that this year. How do you balance fan feedback with your own vision when designing houses, especially from returning properties or collaborations. John says sometimes fans may react a certain way when they first hear something and then totally change their opinion when they see it. So I guess you have to not put too much that initial response. Case in point, WWE last year. What property would you most want to turn into a scare zone / house that probably wouldn't ever actually happen? John says, I'd really like to revisit Shaun of the Dead. What was the most challenging production and special effect for this year's Halloween Horror Nights? If it's an unannounced haunted house, just say the location. John says, Sinners. You'll know when you see it. It's 3 specific things. Will Hellraiser scare actors and actresses be a combination of prosthetics and latex makeup? Latest makeup will be for flesh for certain characters, like Frank from Hellraiser or Julia from Hellbound. Hellraiser 2, John says, it would take way too long to do Frank and Julia as makeup, especially how we're portraying them. So I'm guessing the performers will be wearing a mask. Would you ever be allowed to make an old treatment public or share a few pages of one? The creativity behind HHN is fascinating, and I'd love to learn more about how you guys make it happen. John says, I have 2 pages for a treatment this year for the deck for Midsummer Scream. Would we be able to anticipate both versions, human and flesh Frank Cotton from Hellraiser this year? John says, why does he need skin? I took all of it off and he looks beautiful. So does Julia. Will there be more details on Hellraiser at Midsummer Scream panel? John says no. I have other things to announce. John, what's new for the fire towers this year? John says, new truss design, cooler than it sounds. Then someone asked John this, how much input do you have on scare zones and their themes? And how do you handle each one's reception? Like how much the crows have been a staple now. John says, Pat Quinn on our team generally handles the concepts and design of the scare zones under Chris and I's direction. We generally let Pat run with it and don't interfere too much. He's been doing HHN longer than us in Hollywood, so he earned that respect. Will there be another shirt or hoodie like last year with all the main IP characters on it? John says, I'm sure there will be.
See if there's anything that's changed. Still got the lights, still got the one speaker. Nothing yet. It is interesting which sections of the cord are just kind of like wrapped up in plastic. Just kind of looks like these like cord body bags hidden throughout all the bushes. Like over there, it's all just like bagged up. These lights hit puberty. They've grown. So that light was right there. It was on the ground, but it has now grown a couple feet. I guess they ate its Wheaties this morning. They got the sandbags down all on the base. So that'll be shining off, you know, into the scare zone right here. We still need this to be announced. We should have multiple IP announcements this week, but this has changed. And then no changes over here. So we just had really that one light change, a couple bagged up cords. But yeah, we need this IP to be announced so they can start putting in bigger props and set pieces. And then nothing has changed with the stage over here.
But what has changed, the Blair Witch Project is coming as a haunted house to Fright Fest this year.
So Six Flags tweeted out this, there's something new out there. Blair Witch No Signal Haunted House mazes arrive at Dorney Park and Great America this scary season.
They say the same thing when I start talking about cords sometimes.
I'm gonna guess nothing has changed back in the tents. But again, we never know. There's gonna be one day when we show up and it's all just gonna be dropped and installed. But until that day, we gotta go every day, see what's going on.
Oh, today is a good day. We got movement, people. We got movement. Look at this. Look at this. Nice slow zoom. So on the tent, we can see the Hellraiser signage is starting to be installed. So we have official confirmation that Hellraiser is gonna be placed right there. Nothing has happened with that tent yet with any signage, but we got Hellraiser signage right there. It's happening. We got movement. Also, it looks like the dumpster has been removed back here. So with that being removed, I feel like we're gonna start seeing the facade being built now. Now the big dumpster is gone. They finished most of the house. And it is time to start working on that facade.
Finally, we got something happening. Thank you, HHN gods. So maybe tomorrow we'll get the other signage installed for the other tent. So Hellraiser, back there.
Not too many changes with the truss over here. It's probably a couple weeks till we see the TV sign pop up with kind of the wait times and what houses are back here. But we have a tree update. They've cut down this branch on the tree next to the truss. Now, oh, we got the lights on. So, as you know, a couple years ago, they added the new lights in here where they can change the colors. So, we've been kind of seeing them pop up with the blues and the reds throughout the park, right? We got like the reddish orange for Jack and then the bluish purple for Oddfellow. So we can see they were testing the lights, and it is that orangey red in there to represent Jack. So we'll see those colors kind of represented throughout the entire park.
We do have confirmation about one of the performers in Nightmare Fuel. Let's go over their statement and what they had to say. So the performer that's coming back for Halloween Horror Nights is the Fuel Girls. The Fuel Girls are returning to Halloween Horror Nights. They posted, "The wait is over. A new era of Nightmare Fuel is about to ignite. Blood Noir. And we're so excited to be stepping back into the fire for a new unforgettable season. We can't wait to share what's ahead. Stay tuned this week as we unveil the Fuel Girls lineup, one soul at a time."
Still nothing with this truss and light. Has not been plugged in to anything yet. So still chilling in there waiting to be electrified.
But you know who was charged up and electrified? John. So, round 2 of Murdy Tweet Time.
There's John Murdy right there. John!
What has been your favorite part of planning this year? Sound, visual, food? John says, "There's a particular piece of music that I was very involved with. You'll learn more later." Have you ever thought about offering a lights-on tour of the houses? Would love to see the detail of the houses. John says, "I'd love to see that." When designing a house, do you design all main elements of the house and another team adds small details like cobwebs, or is it all you? John says, "I write all those details in the treatment, but don't literally spray the cobwebs. That's our props and dressing crew." Proceeds to ask 1,000 questions, generally about Orlando event, or asks about specifics regarding the houses, LOL. John says, "It's crazy. It even says Hollywood on my profile. Why do they still think I do Orlando? Can we get any hint for Tear Tram this year?" John says, "It's all one theme." How many HHN houses are being announced at Midsummer Scream this year? If you can't tell us that, how far has your team gotten on the presentation prep? John says, "Team? Question mark? Ha ha ha. I put the presentation together all by my lonesome, but the team supports it with the booth, fan giveaways, etc. I have the presentation built, but might tweak to accommodate other info if I can. I usually edit it right up to just before that weekend." Why has it been the slowest announcement season in years? John says, "Oh, it's never as simple as you might think." So I'm guessing there's a bunch of kind of IP drama behind the scenes. John, will Hellraiser have water effects like Terrifier last year? He says some, but nothing like that. What's the process of deciding the content to include in the house versus what you unfortunately have to cut? He says space and budget. How has fan feedback over the years influenced HHN's evolution, especially with returning favorites or deeper storytelling in houses? John says, definitely the Latin American house. That directly came from the fans. I agree, probably different ways of storytelling too. How often do you have to tone down a scare or scene for being too graphic/gory, if ever? John says, I don't think that's ever happened. What kind of smells will we get this year? John says, some good, some bad. Would you ever consider taking the helm at HHN when it comes to the UK? Makes traveling to work easier. John says, it's tempting, but my heart has always been in Hollywood. I practically grew up there. Is there anything big that's in store for the fans that we should look forward to? Any hints would be fine. John says, yes. Come to Midsummer Scream. What's your favorite thing about HHN year after year? John says that it still feels like ours, even though it's become this giant thing. Not mine, but all of us who create the event, work the event, attend. It's our place, our time. It was created for the fans to be their place, and it created a community. So at the end of the day, it's the people.
Just lights everywhere you look. There's so many above the DJ stage. What is the electric bill for Universal every year to power all the lights and all the speakers throughout all the scare zones in the houses? It must be insane. We're heading into New York right now. We got a plastic tarp. You know what that means. I don't see a body or anything underneath the black tarp. So when you see the black tarps pop up, that's because there's something gory and horrific underneath it. So there might be something all the way at the top, but there's nothing right there. There's kind of a directional arrow, but they've added some more signage. It says, welcome to downtown Clown Town. Then they have this like blanket. It's all dirtied and distressed, kind of gross and grimy on it. And then you got little flags all around it. Now these do not look like the Hollywood Scare Zone flags. These are a little more see-through, not as dirty, not as gross and grimy. It looks like these icons just recently kind of took it over and added their mark on the town, where the Hollywood one has been around a while. It does look like they've added a spot to kind of hook in the flags. Looks like this one kind of is unhooked, but you can see it kind of wrapped around, hooked around right there with the flags, so they can be waving in the wind.
We can get a better view of how it looks from behind the tarp. So it's definitely gonna be an arrow, and it's definitely gonna be illuminated. If we look really closely, if you look right there, you can see a little cord kind of running to the sign. So the sign will probably be illuminated when you're walking in. There's no body, there's nothing underneath the tarp. So I wonder if it's just like something gross written on the sign. But again, we can see some cords right there underneath.
See if there's any changes over here at all. Boris's office is still blocked off, so we can't see any of those Easter eggs. So hopefully this wall can come down soon, but you can hear them going to town in there, working on Finnegan's. Nothing's been added to the tent. Hopefully we get some decorations on the tent to make it blend in better with the scare zone. But we got some updates over here by the tribute store. Look at it. Look at the facade. Paint looks good. Dirty, a little grimy. So we can see there's a rope right there and a rope right there. Probably it'll be connected to some sort of banner that'll hang right there. Probably say the tribute store. Because it wouldn't just be dangling there for nothing. So we got that. And then you come over here. They have kind of a fencing around it. Nothing on this truss. I'm sure we'll get something soon. But this is how it looks from the side. And we got a little ticket booth right over there. Now again, you're probably never even gonna look at this, but they do it just for proper theming. So underneath here, and it's got that moldy mildew. Most people will never look up, but they put the details there just because. And we also got the ticket booth right here. No tickets being sold yet. But I wonder what details they'll also add. So you got the graphic right there, kind of the dirty wash to it, and then tickets. And this is strange, there's almost like a little stage right here with stairs. What is going on with this? We've never seen this before. So are they gonna have a performer out here? Because there's stairs. We've never seen stairs for a facade for a tribute store. So we got a stage right here, also right here. They have this pillar, this went over the truss. There's another angle of it. That stage is very intriguing. Why is there a stage there? Now the one thing I've really been enjoying is kind of how they're matching the paint with what's behind the theming. So in Hollywood, we saw them kind of match the paint of those stages with the bricks behind. Here they kind of did the same thing. You know, we have the fence right here. We kind of have that maroonish and tan color, which is also on the building. So it kind of blends in a little more natural and doesn't stick out like a sore thumb.
So if you look right there, kind of that reddish maroon color is the same color of the building right behind it.
See what's going on with the stage. They had the A-frame on the stage, you know, pardon our dust, but it's been moved down there, so you really can't see it at all. But nothing's been added to this side of the stage. Just the other day, they kind of drilled all the wood down. I'm interested to see the other set pieces that pop up in the scare zone, how they're gonna kind of connect it all together aesthetically with the tribute, the stage, and the directional sign. Now the other sign over here has also had details added to it. We got some flags around the base of it. You can see the tarp flap it in the wind. Again, there's nothing underneath it. There's no bodies or anything. So maybe it's just because we haven't had the scare zone announced yet, but it says the exact same stuff as the other one. Welcome to downtown, just slightly off-centered like the other one. And then we have the sheet up there with kind of blood and clown makeup on it. But yeah, there's nothing underneath there that's gory. So we'll just have to wait and see when stuff gets announced. Do they unveil it? What's truly underneath the tarp? I'm not seeing any changes with the stage here. Again, the cords have just been chilling in there waiting to be plugged in. So there's no electricity running to the speakers yet. We still need some more stuff to appear. We have some more coaster track. You're gonna be doing a little bit of twisting, but a giant wall has appeared in front of the stage. They've moved the Minions photo op over here, but the wall just keeps going. It's blocking off the entire kind of stage area. El Macho joined his explosive Q&A.
There's John Murdy right there.
What made you want to be the head creator of HHN in Hollywood? John says, to get the chance to create something from the ground up and to create lots of content and see it come to life fairly quickly. Rides take 3 to 5 years to create. Have you ever thought about increasing the number of houses before? Is it a possibility in the future? John says, space is a tough one. It's not my decision, but eventually it will have to grow. You've used plenty of scents throughout the years. What is your favorite and least favorite? And how do you release the smells? Is it a similar system to Disney? Smellizers? John says they're small units, oil-based, handcrafted for us. How long is your list of IP white whales? He says pretty short. First time to go to HHN in Hollywood. Can't wait to do the Terror Tram. Anything we should be watching for? John says yes. Scaramony at Fire Tower every 45 minutes. or so through the night and Chainsaw Brigade at exit half an hour before closing, 2 Universal Studios Hollywood traditions that aren't usually marketed. Is there going to be a roaming character this year, like how Art the Clown roaming around the parks last year? John says, wait and see. Will the backlot ever see a return to HHN? Just curious. I know Toxic Tunnel was really fun, LOL. John says, it's funny. Everyone finally remembers the Toxic Tunnel when at the time the fans would rip on it and rated poorly. What's the one thing you've always wanted to add to HHN that you haven't yet? It doesn't have to be a house, even just a food item or event idea. Had an idea once to take a man lift / cherry picker and dress it like a Grim Reaper and have someone drive it through the park. That'll never happen for obvious reasons. If you can use one of Orlando's original houses, which original house would you use? John says, my old house in Metro West, because it had a screened-in pool, a shower big enough for a whole basketball team, and a wet bar in the bedroom. Not to sound greedy, but is there a chance for the Killer Clown House to return to Orlando? John says, I don't know, ask a clown. What kind of art style does HHN art and creative department use to draw and create key art and making poster banners? Because it was beautiful this year, and I love the dark retro illustrated and vibrant tone to the key art of the mazes, better than last year. John says, that's marketing that does the key art. The art was done by an artist called Billy Butcher, who did a lot of posters for Stranger Things. Is there a house that has more water effects than the rest? John says, not like Terrifier last year. And Kevin, we trust. If I was a theme park and I ever needed to plug in something, I would know exactly where to go. Kind of a public service.
The truss and lights have now been electrified. We saw the cords be installed for the lights the other day, but we now have the cord going from truss to truss, which will lead to the rooftop. So it's all connected to the roof right there. So it goes from there all the way over there. They're working on the truss a little bit right now. We did get a new Universal t-shirt collection, $35. It's got the Universal logo where it's kind of like a maroon color for the globe. The same thing over here, $60, but for a hoodie. Nice and soft, $27. You got a trucker cap that says Florida on the back, US for Universal Studios since 1990. $35 for a crop top Universal Studios shirt. And then here's a full maroon one, $35. It is nice and embroidered, but instead of it being maroon embroidery, it's blue for the globe. $30 for the Universal Orlando Resort hat. They also have a gray variant for $30 because it's a little toasty outside. They got a new water bottle too. $30 for the new Universal Orlando Resort water bottle. And just like that, the World Cup goes away at City Walk.
All right, on that note, let's go back to the office. And the AC, it's 12, so the heat's hitting. Okay guys, we're back in the office. So we have our first confirmation of the next IP announcement, when it's gonna be happening. So Universal tweeted out the date for when you guys watch this, the 21st, so we're gonna have another announcement happening. So our next HHN update tomorrow, we'll be talking about what's going on with that announced IP, what the creatives had to say. Again, every single day this week, we're gonna have our little HHN updates. So I hope you guys enjoy this journey and the build up to the start of Halloween Horror Nights 35. But on that note, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button and join the family.
We love the family.
Because I'm gonna keep you up to date on all things Halloween Horror Nights and Universal Studios around the country. I love y'all. I'll see y'all very soon.
It's a myth called
Because it's a little toasty outside. They got a new